No, Poland. No, Poland's lovely. Lithuania.
Yeah, I've still got some carbon wrap, actually, if you need any of that.
Oh, rub you. Can you apply it as well?
I probably could. Bit of a hairdryer on it.
Okay.
I've got.
Well, you got a hairdryer.
So had an incident happened.
Yeah, it would have been televised.
Who would have been to blame in this particular?
Well, it would be interesting, and we'd have the footage. So
yeah, well, it would be the guy behind, presumably, not the poor punter who's turning left.
I'd put it down to a 50-50.
Right. Anyway, hi there. Billy Board Bikers here. We've been out this weekend doing a socially distanced little ride around. We've been having a close look and comparing the 2017 GSA with Mr. Bacon's brand new 2021 GSA and looking at the comparisons and what have you. So, no, first off, Andy,
yes.
How is the new bike?
Well, I've only done 60 miles on it, but first impressions are pretty good. Yeah, I don't think I've made a mistake yet.
Mick, what did you think of the new one?
Well, I think quite a bit of the new bike, a bit more than Bacon's Aaron jumper. I think he's sort of settling into the GS framework, the sort of character building stuff. Does that go with the bike, the Aaron jumper?
I think he's got his pipe and slippers.
Genre. I'm changing genre.
It could be a GS thing. No, very good, very nice. We saw it yesterday. All very shiny and new. Gold wheels, everything, spokes. Yeah.
I thought the decision was not to have any spokes. Oh, that was you, Scholey, wasn't it?
No, well, strangely enough, Mr. B did mention that he's got a new contact who's some high-up guru at MCN who apparently thinks I'm a wanker because my spokes used to come loose and it's never happened to him in the 3 GSs that he owned. But if he's only had 3 GSs, he's a mere beginner compared to my 7.
But he is a good judge of character, though.
Anyway, so we put them side by side. We had a good look at what the differences were and things like that. And we did a little bit of swappage going on, socially distant swappage. And how did you find that, Andy?
What, riding yours?
Yeah, the difference between brand new and...
There wasn't a huge amount. Obviously, the first thing that hits you is the lack of a TFT. That's personal preference, whether you like.
What was it? Was it stolen? Is that why there wasn't one?
No, mine wasn't. And Richie's on analog, bless him. Actually, it doesn't feel that much. We didn't ride very far, it has to be said. But first impressions were it didn't feel hugely different. Although, you know, mine's done 60 miles, so the engine hasn't really loosened up yet. So it's not really perhaps too fair. But, you know, they're not... the GS has been developed over how many? 40 years. And it's been a series of small steps, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, all the controls are exactly the same, in the same position. The TFT screen was a bit confusing to me. And I've got, if I'm completely honest, when I bought mine, I did actually have the option of the TFT screen, but for some stupid reason, I decided not to have it. But at least it won't get stolen. But the sat nav with the Wonder Wheel does much the same sort of things in terms of I can set that up to have the speed on there and all sorts of bits and pieces. But yeah, I mean, it was all very, very familiar and things like that. And looking around the bike, there's only been a few cosmetic changes, a little bit to the front end, a couple of bits which I think are nicer on yours. The one big thing I noticed on yours, which I think is absolutely fantastic, is the front indicators as position markers and the rear indicators as brake light and indicators. And they really stand out when you're riding along. I think that's quite good. If I could put those on mine, I would. I did like that. That was a nice touch. And you've got some spanky headlight that does that when you start up. I don't know what the fuck it does that for, but I mean, it's
got like auto leveling headlight thing then.
And round corners.
Yeah.
Oh, does it go around the corner as well?
Oh, that'd be good when that breaks, then, wouldn't it? That'd be expensive.
There's not very many bad points yet. There's only one. So shall I start with a good? I'll start with the thing I'm not really sure about, and that is the quick shifter. Again, engine's loosening up. You know, we've agreed, haven't we, Rich? Quick shift doesn't really suit that engine and gearbox. Although I'm beginning to learn there is a sweet spot on the upshift of around about 4 to 5k. It's just if you're hustling it, which is when you tend to want to have a quick shift, it's a bit of a jerk. Down is all right. I find down works really quite well, the auto blipper-y thing. So that's the only thing I'm not sure about. What I'm really impressed with is that the tech's working. You know, I love my tech. And the built-in nav to the TFT through the app is actually pretty good. It doesn't show you a map, it gives you directions, but the app's really much, much stronger than what I reviewed on the Ducati version. It doesn't use Cygic. It's BMW's own, multi-waypoints, what track you want to follow, you know, fast, wiggly. You've got a wiggly throttle, how curvy you want it. It's quite advanced, that actually. I'd still use my Garmin, but I can see why they're planning on not doing a nav 8 or 7 or whatever. That actually,
I have to say though, Andy, that I've got the same setup on the XR. So it's the same. I've got the Navigator 6 and the TFT. But that the linkage between the phone and the TFT keeps dropping out between the Bluetooth, and a couple of the forums I'm on, this seems to be a bit of an issue, that the phone drops connection out with the bike for an unknown reason.
Okay.
So
it's a very valid point, but I realised I was trying to connect my phone, headset, sat nav, TFT screen. There's a very complex little architecture going on there, and I found this amazing video by a guy with a GS who said, right, this is how you set all the Bluetooths up so they don't fight. And it is really important. Yeah, we'll add the link. It's really important. The sequence of how you connect things and to what is really important so that it all fits together. And you even have to change what the Bluetooth preferences, i.e. what's the functionality of this device? You know, can it take phone calls? Can it not? That kind of thing. But once you've got it, I had it working pretty much out of the box and it found it fine. There's some really cool links as well between the Garmin app on the phone, connected services, where it's called, and the sat nav that's really shortcuts a lot of stuff on the screen. It's very clever.
So compared to the Ducati, then that's a better integrated,
much better.
Nav what about the other? Is it still everything else is the same as the Ducati on the?
Totally different.
Right. Why? Just how it shows on the screen and everything else, because it's still this Bosch thing, isn't it?
BMW have obviously done a lot of work, probably with Bosch, I guess. If the Ducati could have done half the stuff BMW does, I might even have not, you know, I might have even felt more favourably towards the Ducati. It's that much better.
But you didn't buy the BMW just because the tech's better.
I think for me, when I'm touring and I've got 6 different routes in my sat nav for different days of, you know, whatever, a series of routes, the ability for the whole thing to work properly, to me, is really important. I did 14 days, every day has a different route. And I like that to work because then I can enjoy the ride and not have to worry about where I'm going. Am I getting lost? How long it's going to take me to arrive in Dubrovnik? I know when I'm going to get there about. I don't like it to be too predictable, but I like the technology to work for me seamlessly, and I don't want to have to be fucking about with it.
What about the actual riding of it, though? So, you know, tech, but...
Yeah. I've been really quite impressed. It's clearly not as sort of punchy as, say, the KTM. Obviously, I come off the 1290. It's far more refined, obviously. It hasn't got the vibes. You know, they hustle, don't they? I think Yeah, the strong points about the GS is, of course, firstly for me, the front end, that telelever front end
Awesome.
is so confidence inspiring. That front wheel just doesn't seem want to shift. And I
Does
have
it
thrown
saves you from Passats, let me assure you of that.
it. So the combination, the front end, the low center of gravity, and that huge amount of torque that's ready on tap, that's what makes that bike so effective. So the 1290 might be faster off the line and straight line, but actually when you're hustling it, it loses its bulk straight away, and they just turn in like on a sixpence, don't they? But for what I wanted as comfort, long distance touring, I'm very confident that it's going to be very effective at that.
I have to say though, for a bike which promotes it to be a triple black, it's got a lot of silver bits on it.
Yeah,
It has, hasn't it?
it has, yeah.
Might as well call it the triple back with a bit of silver.
Yeah.
I mean, the exhaust is silver, or
Yeah.
like a silvery
It's
titanium.
metal grey, isn't it? The front end of the frame is gunmetal grey, and then
Yeah.
all the crash bars are silver, and all the pannier racks are silver, and the
I
exhaust is silver.
And gold wheels, so it's not all black. It's like an all black with a bit of silver and a bit of gold.
It's got black handlebars though. That's apparently
Yeah,
really good.
black handlebars.
Black
I wasn't
handlebars.
didn't like the exhaust very much. It's sort of like it was a bit pregnant.
Yeah, and
Kind of
and
fat in the
it's
middle
got a
and take
fat
as a
and
to
thin.
get a shot of that. Or is that the posh one? Is that a posh
That's a
one?
posh one.
Oh dear.
It sounds quite good though, actually. I mean,
Does sound good. Yeah.
my view is that since Euro 5, any end can really is just there for aesthetics, but actually this does sound quite snorty.
And is it the new engine thing with a variable valve time?
Yeah.
And presumably you're running in, so you haven't.
No, the running in's
Thanks,
lovely
yeah.
because as soon as it gets up to temperature, the red line moves. So after about, I don't know, 20 minutes, you've got full power. It just holds you back until it's really
right.
up to
That's
temperature.
interesting, isn't it?
It's quite an intelligent. It's not locked at all.
There's more horsepower presumably than
A
Scholey.
bit more horsepower, a bit more torque. I think the key difference is that the torque curve is much smoother. There aren't any holes, and it keeps on going right up to the red line. You've got power up the top there. So
Yeah, mine kind of runs out.
Smooth.
Mine runs out after about 7.
Yeah.
I think my sweet spot's definitely around about the 6.5 mark to kind of maximise the power I found.
But that engine likes short shifting anyway. But it's there. It's not got any. It's a nice consistent flat torque curve, and I think that's where you notice it.
Can we talk price then? Because we were ripping the Ducati for being mega money. So how much did you pay for the GS one?
I paid. Well, bearing in mind it is the TE has ticked everything, and it has got the
Silver bits on
optional acro on it. It's got tracking. It's got an alarm. It's got virtually all the extras, and it was like that in the showroom. It wasn't like I kind of went mad. I paid just short of 20 for it on the road.
All right. So what are you paying a month then for that?
109.
Good.
Right.
What? Is that a big deposit then from the KTM? So how much did you get? You chopped the KTM in. How much did you get for that?
9. 3 years old, 15,000 miles on it. That was a result, wasn't it?
That's not bad, is it?
I have got a question for the audience. So, as a non-GS owner, I was determined not to have tin cans. Actually, in our video, you said no tin cans.
No tin cans.
Putting on the Vario, which I quite like because you can expand and reduce the size of the panniers, is quite handy. But it costs you like an extra 600 quid to go to Vario because the bike's not set up for them. You have to change loads of stuff, take off all the scaffolding, change pillion foot pegs, change the, it's very expensive to go to normal panniers. It's really annoying. So do I pursue that or go with black tin? Bearing in mind, I can't have soft luggage because I'm touring and I leave the bike.
I think we should ask that for that in the comments because Yeah, we have a vast number of subscribers now, and we have had some very positive comments from one of them. But yeah, why don't we?
He's out of mental hospital soon, isn't he?
Why don't we ask the audience then? Should he get massive tin boxes on the back for doing Deliveroo, or manufacturing the back end, the Vario things? Yeah.
Well, I think we kind of covered the new bike and the old bike and the comparisons, and we're all agreed that Andy's made a very good choice on this one, and he'll have many happy miles on it. In the meantime, what's the audience been saying then, Tobers? You're kind of up to date and up to speed of what's the audience participation?
Yeah, well, we've got a fantastic global group of subscribers to our amazing channel, and they actually take time. You know, they've clearly got nothing better to do, and they actually post comments, which is fantastic. On your BMW F900 XR Farkle Fest, Meg, good video. This is from Gordon. Good video, nicely done. On paper, the bike looks a bit like a great middleweight. With you coming from the KTM, does a new bike leave you feeling a bit underwhelmed?
Yeah, no, it's nice. Gordon, thanks for that. As I think I said it in the post, it is different to the KTM. It hasn't got the grunt. Well, Mrs. P comes on it, 2-up. It does, I don't know, 0 to 60 in advertised 3.4 seconds. So it's quite nifty.
Yeah, that's with a normal weight rider.
not a little fat bastard like myself. Yeah, but no, very pleased with it, and yeah, it does what it says on. It's a good all rounder.
Cracking.
And for my little legs, very nicely sized.
Yeah, very good. So you're not missing it. There's a guy called Mix here. That's his name, Mix here. It says, cheers guys, entertaining and informative as usual. That was on your Future of Bike Tech one, Andy, which got a lot of interest, particularly people very appreciative of the SIGGIC stuff, which is all very good. But there's another guy called Peter Spence. Hi, Peter. He says, I've never heard so much bullshit from a guy that really wanted to do Ducati. If you're going to do a review of a motorcycle, please do your research. So there you are.
Sorry if I offended you.
We love you, Peter. You did offend him. You offended him so much. He actually wrote many words about this when he could have been doing something much more interesting, like watching Pornhub.
Maybe he was at the time.
I mean, well, that could account for it, couldn't it? Tiger Squad says, another great video, chaps. I think you've dodged a bullet avoiding the Duke. Now, don't go and snatch defeat from the jaws of victory and get the anniversary colour scheme. That's on the GS.
Yeah, that black and yellow is dreadful.
Yeah. Isn't yours black and yellow? Is it black and gold? Black and gold. Oh, no, the Bumblebee one. Yeah, the Bumblebee one.
Yeah, good point. That. Thank you for the advice.
Yeah, good. So, I mean, there's loads of comments coming. We really enjoy the comments. So keep them coming. We haven't had to delete too many actually, which is quite good.
It's nice and encouraging, and as I say, I grant that we're not all Henry Coles or Missenden Flyers, and there is a lot to learn. We're presenting and talking about stuff on the cameras, so yeah,
we should start learning at some point then.
Yeah.